Who predicted Tracy Chapman would marry her guitar? Why was Thomas Dolby sued for his name? How many times has Billy Joel appeared before a real judge?
I am invincible.
And this is 1, 2.
What's going on, everybody? This is your boy Invincible, and welcome to the season finale of 4 Degrees of Black. Well, we promised you guys once a month that we will have a special guest, and our guest for this episode, the season finale, I can't think of a better way to close this show out, our first season, than with the man who is all about glamour and glitter, who rules Twitter, who runs YouTube, who is part of the Trinity on Blog TV. Ladies and gentlemen, please let us welcome Mr. TheXDExperience. Yes.
How y'all doing? What's going on?
I'm giving you an Oprah hug right now. XD, we want to thank you for your for joining us on our season finale. And Pat, I think you're going to take this away with the topic, right?
Yes, I think that's what I'm gonna do. All right. So y'all know it's been a lot of drama going on lately, from the whole Howard Stern thing to the pressures and out and trickled down to Twitter and YouTube. It's been a lot of drama lately here on this here YouTube and that there Twitter. It's been some fairly big name YouTubers and some, and the same ones that are on Twitter or whatever. My thing is this, and I'm just going to pose the question and then we can call names and do whatever we're going to do, because there's no point of us like beating around the bush about it. You know what I'm saying? My thing is this. How do two people that don't know each other, i.e., that don't even know each other as far as personally and living with them or whatever the case may be, all that stuff, i.e., let's say, I don't know, Joe Work and Alcohol Harmony. They probably met one time in person, but they don't really know each other. How do they go from being YouTube friends to being like enemies in real life? How do one get to that point?
Because both of them are tops. I probably just lost it all. Personally, my name is Invincible. If you subscribe and you unsubscribe, I'll see you later, baby. It's the season finale. And if you've been watching this show, we had a show called Keeping It Real. Baby, I'm all on 100 today. But go ahead. Well, we said we weren't holding no punches, y'all. I came to play.
All right, okay. I'm not even there. Let's get it.
Let's speak about it. Let's give cause XD, you've been in some of that mess on Twitter, cause Watu and I had our little laughs from it. So explain to me. And I'm not calling you out or putting you on the spot or anything, but explain to me how you go from being friends with one person, or not necessarily friends, but being cool with somebody, to being like this person who now each other despise for the most part.
Well, that's easy. For the record, I don't despise Joe Work. There was an altercation. If y'all didn't see it on Twitter, it happened. We have a disagreement on his talent, or whatever you want to call it. The whole point is somebody put it on Twitter that, there are real people behind the screen, regardless of how you met them. We do have fostered some kind of connection. And a lot of us on Twitter and YouTube have met in person. And, I have never met Joe Work in person, but it's the fact that sometimes people feel that the internet life is better than real life, so therefore you invest a lot of time with it. So therefore, real feelings get involved with, quote unquote, with communication, or faux friendships, or whatever you want to call it. I personally don't feel any type of way. It was an escalated thing that happened. It's just like, oh shit, he coming for me and blah blah blah. So at this point in time, it's kind of like, I don't have time to read people and this, that, and the third. You could just come find me in Brooklyn.
I heard you put your address on the Twitter screen.
You know what I mean? It's just like, as far, and I think what the problem is that what escalated so much is that people aren't at replying things, or, if you really had a problem with it, you just tell them. Like with the situation with Joe Work, I called him, me and 2 other big name YouTubers. We called him and told him how we really felt. We weren't throwing anybody under the bus at the time. As mature and immature as it may or may not be, we called him and said, this is how we really feel. He had the opportunity to retaliate and say how he really felt about us thinking the way we did, but he didn't. And he still felt a certain type of way. So I'm not about to babysit anybody's ego.
I got something to say. Jesus, Lord have mercy. Let me do this first. So, in the words that we have often used before, and we say this a lot, it's just YouTube, right? Don't we say that? It's just YouTube. When we originally got on YouTube, each of us, I don't think we came into YouTube with the expectations that we would make the friends that we made and to be the kinds of friends that we are, right?
Not at all. I didn't expect it.
Which makes it so easy to say it's just YouTube. And I think what happened was we fostered a community. We got us a community together. And then, like communities do, we went and we got in groups that were more like us than just the commonality that we had. And somewhere along the line, we've let Discord come in. Because it's just YouTube, right? It's just YouTube. So, no matter how young the person or how old the person, we let this whole thing happen. Like, all we doing, really, we came on here to make videos. If we actually came on to make videos, because a lot of us probably got on just to watch music videos. That's how YouTube got us. And then we went further into it. So I think we should let YouTube just be YouTube. I think that's the problem. We've given it a little bit too much power.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Whack Ringtones. Up next, Gays and Eagles on YouTube. Whack ringtones because they suck.
I think it's amplified. Honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's amplified. Like,
I agree.
I hate to say it, and it's gonna sound really shallow, but it is what it
Shallow. I like shallow.
is. I can't swim, so I like to stay in shallow waters.
Hey now.
I think we don't really want to admit it, but the more we become known on YouTube, and I'm not gonna say this for everybody, but for some of us, it does kind of brush our ego and make our ego a little stronger, because the homos have big egos already. You know what I'm saying? Give them a fake.
Swagger comes in on 12. So by the time YouTube finished with it, their swagger is on 29.
Exactly. So I think that's why I say I think it just enhances it. And some people feel that their videos are better than others, and other people's videos are a waste of time. And I wish I could get a refund from watching some people's videos on my life. But yeah, it just. And then when somebody actually, critiques you on your video, I mean, it's your own baby that you're putting on the internet for the world. And I think a lot of us forget when you put it on YouTube that you're putting this out there for people to critique. That's why it's a comment box.
To the runway, to the runway, to the runway.